Hi everyone, welcome to the episode of Secrets of the Viz. Today I have a very special guest, Sophie, who is here to talk a little bit on SNL Viz, which was really interesting. Fun fact, Sophie was one of my candidates when I was doing IM Viz judging last year, and I absolutely loved her submission on Leonard Bernstein. It was a Viz that showed the conductor life journey and career. I do hope everyone will check it out because it's really fun to work around it. So over to you, Sophie, to give a short intro.
Yes. Hi, Luis. Thanks for inviting me. It's really a pleasure to be here. So I'm a data visualization expert based in Hungary, working for HCI Star Schema. We all have a Visually Hall of Fame, Tamás Valdi, who was the CEO. And we also have another public ambassador, Tamás Varga, who's working with me. So it's a really great place to do data visualization in Hungary, actually. We also have a blog called the Viz Collective. I really recommend to check it out because we have really interesting topics. So all in all, it's a really inspirational place to work.
Sounds good. So two things. First, congratulations on making Tableau Public Ambassador this year. I think it's well deserved because of all the things that you have done, and your business are really beautiful. Second, the Viz Collective, is it a kind of like an internal COE inspired blog to share whatever that you guys are doing internally for the community? Because I looked at it, it's really interesting.
Yeah, the idea was that there is this really great team, but we don't really have the chance to work together because we are working for clients and you know how it is. So you have your own project and it would be really great to collaborate with each other. That's how we had this idea that why don't we have a blog where we could have our own projects and topics which we really like to work on. And there were some really interesting ones about accessibility, but we also had some data visualization project where somebody had this idea that, oh, that's a really cool topic we should work on, but I have no idea how to do it. And I think it's also cool because we have like different skills and that's how we can combine it to learn as well.
There's a really nice team culture to build around. It's kind of like a team of superstars across different departments that are well versed in design, data analytics, and stuff.
Yeah, and it's just great that you find the people who are really helping and supporting you.
That is true. So today we're gonna talk about your Viz.
All right, just a sec. So this is the Saturday Night Live visualization I did recently. And it's part of the DataPlusTV challenge. When I first read that there is this IMDb collaboration of Tableau, it was really exciting. So I was like, yeah, I should really do something. But if you check the data set, it's huge. So you really have to narrow it down somehow. And I had this idea that I really like SNL. And this year is actually the 50th. So it's just an anniversary for them. And it's so exciting to explore. I was brainstorming first, like how I could narrow it down because it's still 49 seasons and at least 20 episodes in each season. So it's a lot of data points. I tried to find a narrative and then it came to my mind. Then in SNL, there is this club called the Five Timers Club because each episode is hosted by another famous person. And there are some who hosted the show at least 5 times. I think Steve Martin is the best example for this. And that's why he's like the default highlight. His first show was in 76 and the last one was last year. So his whole career is actually on this chart, which I really find amazing. This is not my first core diagram, but I really liked it. And there is this really great tutorial of CG Mice, which you can find on his blog. This was like the first part of the Viz, which I built. And I think this is my favorite part in all the visualization process. When I'm like, okay, so I have some ideas, but how the design should look like and fit the design to the topic. So since it's a late night show, I was going with this night view, and also it's based in New York. And I think it's a really big part of how the whole atmosphere is. So that's why I had this big city idea. And here you can find all the seasons and all the episodes, which are actually the windows of the skyscrapers. And it was also great because the seasons are different. There are some which were just a couple of episodes. So it also gave a bit of diversity to this. About the windows, I had this really strong vision that it should look like skyscrapers. but I really didn't know how. But lately I was experimenting with my players and they are like super cool for this. With the windows, I wanted to do a bit like random. So I did some data preparation with Excel. So that's how this is built. They are in the order of the episodes. The first one is also at the bottom. And as you go up, there is the last one from this year. I also found it interesting on this data set, especially how the number of ratings are changing over the years. So like in the 80s, there are not that many. Here it's like 150 ratings. That's why the windows are smaller. However, it's like getting more and more votes as people are using IMDb. So you can see the one which was hosted by Elon Musk. It was like really a lot of votes, and it was also controversial based on the rating. I think it was also a great insight to see like how people are using IMDb for this.
I absolutely love
So
this. Like, the chord diagram by itself is very impressive because it's a centerpiece of
yes,
your visualization. But I love the fact that you link that chord diagram with the skyscraper at the bottom to highlight, so it kind of gives that additional depth, the storytelling. And this is genius. Having the bars and the boxes plotted as a scatter plot within each of the seasons, it's a really unique and clever idea. Like,
thank you. Yeah, and it was also really funny. It wasn't intentional, but when I created the background in Figma, I think it was an accident that I found this purplish shade. I was like, yeah, it looks really good. And then I realized that actually in SNL, they have this 5-timer suit, which is the same deep purple color.
let's just call it
Yeah.
the Zophie intentional design.
Yeah, it was in my subconscious, I guess. I just didn't know about it. But yeah, I think the whole data set is really so much fun.
So looking back, what is the one advice that you will give yourself?
I was really asking for feedback, and there are some really great initiatives within the community. So I can only recommend to ask as many people as you can for feedback, because especially in big projects that you're really focusing into it, and of course you understand everything. But if people are looking at it the first time, they have no idea what's the topic and everything, you really have to be at the context around it and explain a lot of things which might be obvious for you, but not for them. So yeah, I think that's the hardest part. You have to think on the audience.
Yeah, that's a very good point because not everyone does the same thing as you do. So, like you said, there is a need to build that additional context for your audience so that you can bring your story much better across. Thank you for walking us through your amazing chord diagram on SNL. I think how the actions from the chord diagram interacts with the night skyscraper at the bottom is brilliant storytelling.
Thank you.
So I hope everyone learned something from this, and we'll see everyone next week. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.